During dessert at my parents' house, my mother leans over and whispers in my ear, "I want grandchildren." I look down at my wedge of strawberry cheesecake, embarrassed both by the statement and by her voracious tone. Certain that all eyes are on me, the only crucible for my mother's desires, I pick at the crust instead, making grooves in the graham cracker mash with my fork. Every time my mother inhales, I brace myself for the next declaration. "You'll be such a good mother. Children are such joy. It was like being a kid all over again raising you. We had so much fun." The blood-red syrup slowly oozes into the grooves until clotted by the soft mass of a purplish strawberry. 3 inhalations pass with no follow-up. I cautiously raise my head. My fiancé, oblivious to my mother's gestative plots, continues quizzing my father about the finer points of laying marble countertops. My mother, apparently satisfied, pours a second round of decaffeinated coffee. The question of children has been dodged once more. But then I catch a glimpse of my mother's face, and she wears the smug smile of one who truly knows something you do not. And in short, I was afraid. I clean my plate in silence. When I was in elementary school, I was usually picked up by my father, who was self-employed as a carpenter and thus in theory could set his own hours. In practice, he was almost always late, sometimes hours late, not arriving until all my friends and all of the after-school program kids had been swept off to warm apartments replete with cookies and cartoons. As I grew older, it became a point of pride not to wait inside the school. It was humiliating to sit on the bench by the entrance and endure the solicitous questions of other parents. Instead, I waited on the front steps, still within the receptionist's line of sight but able to pretend otherwise, affecting nonchalance while I watched the tourists and locals rush through Manhattan's West Village. From the steps, I had a perfect view of everything synonymous with the area: the cafes and import stores, the little galleries and restaurants, the basketball courts a block up, and the handful of Italian businesses just across the avenue. I saw movie crews and television crews, photo shoots, and all manner of celebrities just doing everyday things. I wised up to the men in raincoats who sat on the benches, the women in too short skirts who started appearing around dusk, the quick exchanges between clutching hands that would take place without either person breaking their stride. After a while, I convinced not only myself but everyone else that I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and sitting on the front steps became cool, a short-lived triumph in popularity. The point is that before it became cool, I had to entertain myself, and once snuck off down the street to buy a strawberry ice. The street was crowded with people and lined with cars parked bumper to bumper. It was a warm autumn day. Everyone in school begged their parents to buy them ices at this particular grocery shop, a small Italian grocery across the avenue, because the ices were made with real fruit, crushed ice, and sugar. I felt very mature going by myself. I waited patiently online, ordered in what I imagined to be a grown-up tone of voice, and paid out of a small hoard of allowance quarters I had in my knapsack. A man held the door for me when I left. When I left the shop, the street was silent. While everyone turned away, a car drove slowly up the street, and there was a shot. And when I could say again, there was a head hanging out of a parked car's window, and strawberry clots had melted all over my hands. There were pigeons everywhere. Every step back to school was foreign. I did not recognize the receptionist. She scolded me in a different language. The glare on the bathroom walls was dizzying, the water shockingly cold. I washed as best I could. No matter how hard I scrubbed, though, the moment remained, gumming me shut with strawberries and sugar. So when my father finally arrived, I knew him to be my father because he took my hand. I could say nothing, and he didn't ask.